Hi, and welcome to the next video in the series around your inner critic. And this one specifically is about how to manage your inner critic once you realize that your inner critic is in the driver's seat. So previously we've looked at recognizing the signs that tells you that you're in the grip of your inner critic. This one is about kicking him out of the driver's seat and having something more confident, something more empowered, taking control instead. So for every superhero movie, there is always the villain. There is always the bad guy. Sometimes there's more than one bad guy. Maybe there are a number. And in the movie of your life, your inner critic is that villain, or your inner critics are those villains. So for me, I've got quite a few inner critics. I've got the drill sergeant, the guy that's shouting in my face and telling me that I need to do better and work harder and push further and all of that. I've got another inner critic, the not good enough guy, that says that as the word implies, that I'm not good enough. And I've also got the procrastinator, the guy that tells me, oh, don't worry about it, put it off until tomorrow. And these are all voices that are holding me back. And as I'm talking about them, I can feel in my body this sense of feeling smaller, of feeling contracted, a little bit of tightness and shortness of breath as well, some anxiety and some panic as well in my body as I'm allowing it to take over a little bit. And the overall feeling is one of not wanting to be big, not to be seen, not to move forward, not to push through, all of those qualities that hold me back inside my comfort zone. So one of the strategies that I have is to embody some kind of, if you like, a superhero. As I was saying about the superhero movie analogy. If you think about a superhero that you really love, be it Superman or Spider-Man or Batman, could be Elektra or Xena Warrior Princess. Doesn't matter what the superhero is. But when you begin to think of that superhero, particularly when you're watching the movies that they're in, my experience is, and I know this is true for a lot of people, is your embodiment begins to change. You already begin to feel more expanded, you're taking up more space, you feel more confident. There's a sense of wanting to move forward, but there's also a calmness and a power to that embodiment as well that says, I've got this covered, I know how to do this, and we'll work it out on the hoof if we need to. So I was doing this with a group of people in a workshop recently, and one of the participants was saying that she always loved the Superman superhero as a thing that made her feel really confident. And one of the things that she wanted to do was to get back on horseback and to ride much more and take part in competitions. And she found herself being held back by that. And what she realised through the workshop was that for her, Superman was always Christopher Reeve. And of course, Christopher Reeve unfortunately had a horse riding accident and became paralysed and eventually died from that injury. And so for her, in her mind, there was this connection of the superhero, but also it was this thing that was holding her back. So when you're looking at a way of managing that inner critic and making sure that you've got something that takes over, that feels more confident, make sure it is something that is really doing that. And so for her, that wasn't quite right for her. So we worked with her on trying to find something else. And it's really important that whatever that is, be it a superhero or something else, you're feeling that confidence, you're feeling that expansion, you're feeling that desire to want to be seen, to take up space, to feel confident in yourself. And so if that superhero is not the thing that really works for you, then maybe try a mentor that you have in your life, someone that you respect, a leader that you can think of that is inspirational for you, and someone that you, as I say, someone that you respect. And focus on the qualities of that person that you respect or feel inspired by. Focus on those qualities and then begin to notice how you feel when you focus on those qualities. It'll have a very, very similar sort of effect as the superhero exercise that we did a little bit earlier. So as you do that for yourself and you focus on whoever it is, a superhero, a mentor, a leader, an inspiration to you, notice your embodiment change. Notice the calmness, notice the expansion, notice that feeling of wanting to move forward, wanting to take action from a confident space, rather than from an anxious space, which tends to be what happens when the inner critic is taking control. So I hope that's really useful for you. Have a play with it, have some fun with it, experiment with it, and find the inspirations that are going to really work for you, that, as I say, boot that inner critic out of the driver's seat, and someone, a part of you that feels more confident takes over and helps you take action. So as I say, I hope you found that useful. You can find lots more resources on the Potentiality Coaching website, www.potentialitycoaching.co.uk. And there are blogs there and videos and details about the courses that I'm running, being it face-to-face or online as well. So I hope you found that useful. Thanks for listening.